Okay, here we are, day 193, 365 days towards racial change. Today's subject on leadership recommendations. Be a pretty short post, but let me talk about, just give you an update. I talked about exercising my power at work. From the outside, it probably would look like addressing very trivial, um, superfluous, mundane things, but the superfluous and mundane uh, it's always coming at me to the benefit of others. And I don't know if it's my age or just that it's happened so much. I'm really burnt out on supporting that kind of agenda, that kind of stupidity where it's like everybody's in this make believe world where we make up something that's important and everybody follows suit. There's an interesting thing, I guess I can share it here. These bill collectors, when they call, the first thing they want to do is verify all your information. And that has a couple. Um, they do that for a couple reasons. And one is to get your information so they can keep track of you, and they sell your information to other agencies and stuff. Because if I used to be a bill collector, and one thing my instructor told me at my this bill collecting school was that the person you're trying to collect from probably has outstanding debts in many other places. That you're not. This is a lifestyle uh, situation for the debtor. So you're not the only person trying to call them. So these agencies, they sell information. They sell your debt to each other, like the mafia. They buy each other's debt, trying to cash in and stuff like that. So that goes on. That's one reason. Another reason is it's a mental device that they're using. They get you to get a lot of affirmative action, get your mind into a compliant mode. They ask a question and you give the correct answer, and then you feel I feel very much led in the process. And then when they want to start digging, it makes it easier to dig into my wallet, um, for the money they believe I owe them. I got to admit, my history is so screwed up. I don't know who I owe anymore. Oh, and on that notes, do not uh, change your address with the post office. They'll give you up. There are a lot of places that give um, that if your bill collectors send them information, it's something about it's privacy, but for some reason they're allowed to share your information. I was always under the impression when I changed my address with the post office that it was like their responsibility to reroute the mail. You know, but no, they reroute it one or two times, but then they tell the sender where they're routing it to. It's fun. Now I'm exposed again. So watch out for the post office. They'll give you up. I never do change of address with the post office. I do change of address with the people and the institutions I want uh, to know where I'm at. You know. So that's one thing um, to think about. Now, on this note, with the work and everything, I sat down with the employer or the supervisor. I like these guys too. Good guys. But they've got their head up their backside on some areas. Skipped over me twice for promotion. Bad call. Now, I've got an attitude in this workplace. You know, uh, skipped me over the first time. Yeah, there's competition there and all that. Skip me over twice. You're saying something about me to me, and then you're going to haul me in the office and give me some lame excuse of why you didn't promote me. It's like these guys got to understand they're messing with livelihoods and things like that. You get not from me. I'm more of a pacifist, but you get workplace problems. You know, people messing around. Well, you're messing around with someone's livelihood. They're expecting to move up, be better, come up the chain. You know, they got me working um, advanced equipment, training people, uh, organizing. All I'm highly underpaid for what I do at this logistics company. That alone would warrant promotion if I was running the joint. But these young guys in their privilege, can make all these decisions. You know, I've got wisdom. I've got decades behind me. I do deserve to be promoted. I'm owning that, and um, they are in defiance of some higher laws by playing their uh, game of privilege and to the younger and all that people who say the right things. So, when it comes time, when they need me to bend and understand and all this crap, it makes it a little harder. I'm getting into the politics of the power of it. So that's what's happening in my life. Fear not. I said, I turned in my radio. We got little radios. That's almost like a badge. I didn't my pay didn't increase, but I got I'm in communication and I'm running around and I'm doing everything effectively, even better than the people in my group. You know, but they're not giving up this. See, that's the thing. I had the symbol. This is the crux of Dr. Anderson's argument. We get the symbols. Us black folks are great for having the symbols, whether it's a radio, a uniform, I don't know, a position, esteemed position in a house of worship or something like that, some title and whatnot, operating equipment, you know, but they're not giving us those tangible assets, wealth. Throw them symbols in the trash. We need some wealth. We need tangible assets. So I'm still working there. I don't care about the environment. The head supervisor came to me. He's like, "Yeah, you really got to wear the seatbelts." And if it was up to me, I wouldn't care. I'm tired of hearing that. Boy, if it was up to me, they're totally passing the buck. It's these people up the chain that my hands are tied. If it was up to me, I'm tired of hearing that. It is up to you. Push back against them. Tell them their policy is crap. Tell them, do you want profits or you want people to, uh, you know, uh, be so safety conscious that things don't get done. You know, think about it. But safety and compliance and all this insurance companies, everybody's got everybody shaking in their boots and doing some kind of weird dance. Look, let's get the product out. Let's make some money. and all that. And by the way, you've got good people in position. You need to start paying them more. They are, at it. So, I had a good, I had a good night. Yeah, the relationship with upper management needed some adjustment. They need to start taking me seriously. I can put down this and that. I can sweep floors all day. I'll clean toilets all day. I can do the grind. But don't have me uh, performing your job better than you and not pay me and compensate me for it. Black folks need to work on that. It's the mind, you know. The slave mind had to be passive on these issues. I mean, think way back when the slave mind just showed up with no voice, no power, couldn't put down the farming implement and dictate to massa these things. At least we've gleaned some of that. This is the first time I've exercised my power and authority and kept the job. I usually am running away, having a fit, or something like that. This type of job is so labor intensive that it just gets buried. We're going to cycle it around and see what happens later on. But you know, I'm not. I'm tired of being ripped off. But what is the black mind like in America? Is it liberated? The things I did just this past day or so comes with understanding historical context, social context, political, economic, things like that. So I'm standing on a lot of good foundational resources, a level foundation, deep pilings into the fabric of America on why I can be this way towards other people and at work. From my upbringing, I'm breaking chains and a lot of things, um, overcoming in my mind about this stuff. That's an interesting journey. It's brand new to me. I'm decades on this planet. This is brand new. So that's happening. What about the white mind? White minds always, you know, something I realized about power and the powers that be, they know when they're being an inconvenience, when they're being, it's a saying they say you're doing a land grab. Land grab is when somebody comes into a space, a situation, and suddenly they're in control. Suddenly they are having say on stuff. I've had people of all colors just come into my life because of my passivity. All of a sudden they're in control. They're getting promoted and all this stuff. So the white mind, as I push back on these guys, I'm sure uh, I'm sure they felt some kind of way. And check it out. Like when I was doing this job, moving their trailers around the yard, I'm running in and out. I'm on the radio. I'm switching stuff. I'm training guys in this space, and I'm telling them and giving them updates and running around. I'm doing the high managerial stuff, right? Running in and out the doors, in the cold and stuff like that. The manager that can do this job driving these trailers, he's just sat outside for the whole first half of the shift. I'm like, wow. What management just sits outside? They're not running around and doing all this. No, he's probably on the radio orchestrating and stuff and doing some stuff, but I'm running in and out, sweating hard. I'm loading heavy boxes and stuff. It's like, wow. So, when the wheel turns, we're going to have some serious discussions. You know, I'm getting paid for doing skilled labor at this space, you know, or not. They have a regular pay raise schedule and stuff. I'm coming up on my year, so I'm looking for another couple dollars in my paycheck. But they're going to, I've got to stand up and make a voice. I'm not skilled at this. The white mind is. So I'm inspired by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. Get these books, please. A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. Black Labor, White Wealth, Search for Power and Economic Justice. And Dr. Anderson's National Plan to Empower Black America, Powernomics. You can find Dr. Anderson at powernomics.com. Behind me, you see the hashtag us2 symbol, Black women supporting one another, having their conversation. Check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, kind of a Black Facebook experience. This is the World Wide Web. All these links and sites and stuff. If you can't find your flavor or whatnot, do what I did. Start your own, make it your own little project. Get unburden yourself from whatever's ailing you. And finally, we have story time. As soon as we finish up this leadership series, we're going to spend some considerable time, I think, here in Uncle Tom's Cabin. There's some important developments about to come up on the St. Clair plantation. Okay, in these last few minutes, let's talk about leadership recommendation. Point 3. Now, so far we've talked about a unifying goal. We've talked about the Black Leadership Institute. Today we're going to talk about our public policy, how we're going to conduct ourselves, how the community will appear to the public, what what will be our distinguishing marks, Nation of Islam, when they're out and about, all the black men are well dressed, hair's groomed, um, everything, bundle of papers in the hand, they're ready to go. They're Nation of Islam. Jehovah's Witnesses got a handful of pamphlets or whatever, and they're walking through, or maybe they'll have a poster or placard set up advertising stuff. The Mormons, they're 2 by 2. There's 2 guys together with the name tags, and they're down in the neighborhoods proselytizing. Construction workers, hard hat, safety vests, boots, jeans, maybe long sleeve shirt most of the times. Let's see, white collar business people, women's maybe dressed in a power skirt suit. Guys are everything's close to the vest, neat, polished, and whatnot. Let's see. The list goes on. Catholic clergy, a specific collar. So that's how they dress. That's how these communities dress. You can recognize them from afar. How they you can have an expectation of how they're going to come at you. Well, I don't. I hope Dr. Anderson and however this thing falls out doesn't confine itself to a certain way of dress and the hair and stuff like that. I'm way too loose with all that stuff to care. I like to throw on any old thing, cotton, and I'm a hat wearer, so I don't do a lot of grooming with my hair and face. I kind of shave when I have to. This style I've held for a little while now. It's grown on me. It's the prevailing style amongst a lot of men lately. So we'll see. I used to be clean shaven, always cleaning up, but a little facial hair doesn't hurt. Oh, what else is happening? Uh, so that's the appearance. Now, some policy though, which will go along with training and a leadership institute. Um, these marks, these common threads that will run through a growing, thriving collective black community um, will have certain facets, features in it. We'll understand the benefits of exclusion, of separating, and this is important. One of the hardest arguments to get through, and I get challenged a lot from my peers, friends, some of my white friends. You know, my white friends don't even either don't inquire about this project, you know, or they feel have feelings about a message of separation, about exclusion, about focusing energy uh, towards lifting up black people alone. You know, black people getting some elbow room and separating from other groups, immigrants, people of color, and all these rainbows of groups. It dilutes away um, from black betterment. You know, I'm not going to belabor the point. We'll go. I'm sure we'll hit more detailed discussions on that as we finish up the year. But exclusion, and we've got to be okay with it. We can't find ourselves suddenly prospering and all that, and then self-sabotage, or suddenly get some type of hidden mental mechanism that brings on shame, guilt, and doubt that we are suddenly doing well for ourselves, and suddenly we gotta um, bring everybody into the picture. You know, like I've said, this is just grassroots. We're just putting down seeds, nurturing them, keeping the ground around it without competition, letting those seedlings grow. I personally don't see myself uh, seeing some huge black movement in America in my lifetime. You know, I want to. Oh, if I could just influence a few minds, uh, steer them in the right direction. That's what the white folks did when they created America. You know, these guys, uh, teachers and students, were part of the Continental Congress. You know, this good old boys club. There was nurturing going on. You know, there was a classroom within a classroom. You know, it was kind of a top gun of politics and nation creation. You know, they took their times. They took blueprints and whatnot, and you know, they saw the long picture. But I'm sure that Jefferson, Adams, any names you can think of that were part of writing the Constitution, voting and stuff, those early days, infancy of America in Philadelphia, you know, these guys are like, yeah, maybe we got a war coming up and we've got some things on our plate for making this move, but, I'm foreseeing some real greatness here, but I'm not going to be around to participate or, uh, you know, receive the fruits, enjoy the fruits of it. I know that I'm just planting seeds. I'm just shaping young minds. I'm just um, laying the foundation. Got my plumb line to make sure it's level, that it can withstand the brunt force of the world. These are the things that I'm sure went through the minds of older delegates and stuff like that. Now that they were in their getting into their twilight years, we need more black folks to be like that. That understand. I'm just influencing. I'm not trying to, participate and get a piece of the action and all this stuff going on. But they really understand. They're just part of the grassroots end of it now. You know, their bones, man. They can say, be like Joseph in the Bible. Look, when y'all go out of here, when you come into your promised land, please take my bones out of Egypt. Do that for me, will you, black folks? If you ever, you know, or when you rise up, take my bones in whatever form that is up out of here with you. That'll be um, a reward enough. Please do that. Um, the policy is going to show the wealth benefits, power benefits, general improvement benefits. It's going to be something written down. That's going to help. Something we can articulate. Something maybe sing a song too. We're always making songs and raps. Although I'm a rock and roller, bluesy type guy, but we could probably use a lot of genres in there. Something that everybody knows and agrees on and works towards. With something. When we make a move, we go to do something, make a change. Well, first we reflect back to this public policy. I used to run a lot of groups around interpersonal violence, and we would set down ground rules or community rules at the top of the presentation to say, look, things, if we start to veer off course, lose focus, we can come back to these group norms that we agreed upon at the top of the hour. Same way it's going to be this public policy. It'll need energetic physical participation, not necessarily charismatic. We're not looking for the most charismatic guy. We got plenty of that, but we want the most competent. But what's the reality? When it comes to the masses, charisma usually wins. We got, I'll give a shout out to Bernie Sanders. He's hands down the most qualified. You talk about being skipped over for promotion. Hands down, he's the guy to run this nation. But he's a threat to some very powerful entities up there. So he's going to have to work hard. Same way with me in the workplace. Our leader needs to be that type of person. Not so charismatic, but definitely articulate, knowledgeable, understands the situation, how it works, what needs to be done. The policy is going to be so logical, methodical, focused, unafraid to separate. You know, this, some charismatic leader jumping around, getting you all fired up all the time. Stuff it isn't necessarily the man or woman uh, that's going to be the best fit for black success and wealth achievement. You know, that's a whole big discussion, but we want the leadership and especially this public policy to be understandable, reachable by everyone because everyone is going to want to understand it, something that people can live with and appreciate, put their energy behind. A black public policy, like pretty dry post today. We gotta have to wade through those just as much as if you like story time. You know, we're hitting everything we can in this year. That black public policy is a very necessary component for black leadership. As Dr. Anderson points out, he's been very methodical in a lot of the points he makes to see the black community experience some growth and prosperity. Hopefully, get some land ownership in there as well. Something that I'm concerned with. So there you go. We're out of time today. Thanks for hanging out. Come back tomorrow. Talk about the use of technology. That's probably going to be easy when I probably don't even have to. I can just say day 94 technology. See you tomorrow, and you'll get it. But we'll look into some of this, some things tomorrow with technology. Thanks a lot. I'm Tomlin's Nyback. That's day 193 out of the way. 365 days towards racial change. See you tomorrow.